welcome to another episode of the Sports U Podcast MLB edition. You have Rob on the mic here, your co-host, with, of course, Champ Andres. Welcome again to the show, my guy. Bring him in. Warm round of applause. We have a big crowd here today for episode 3. Everybody's excited. Very successful second episode. Kind of still following up on the second one. On the first one. One thing that I do want to just give you guys a heads up on is no fucking idea why the Wi-Fi is being buggy, but we're just gonna try to get through this one pretty quick here. Definitely want to get the content out. So, Drew, you have anything to say about the last one? Introduce yourself or anything?
No, I don't really have a whole lot to say.
And it's buggy. So let's just get right on to the show. So, of course, you have Rob on the mic, Champ Andres right here, bringing you episode 3 of the MLB edition of the Sports U Podcast. So welcome if you are new to the Sports U Podcast MLB edition, where we read you MLB news and you listen to our stupid-ass opinions. So we always love to start it off with some quick hits. We're definitely going to get into Byron Buxton going crazy. And then at the same time, this is after a minor injury. You also have, give me 1 second. You also have, let's see here, the Yankees fans going crazy. Don't know what's really going on with that. We'll give a couple of things onto that to see how that goes. Oh, Drew, are you okay? There you go. You're gonna share your screen real quick again. But we definitely like to get the blood flowing, get it going. There, he's back here. Again, technical difficulties. Hopefully, you guys can bear with us. But ultimately, let's get started with the quick hits. Drew, I'll bring in the first one here. Would love to kind of get your real quick opinions on this. The pitch clock has shortened the minor league games by a total of 20 minutes. Is that something that you're thinking that Major League should implement? And is it worth saving each fan 20 minutes of their lives?
I think it's gonna be good. I was watching a broadcast. I don't remember who was playing, but the consensus, they felt like the games are just gonna feel more crisp. That the stuff that you like to see, whether it's the good pitching or the high octane offense or a mixture of whatever, gonna be, okay, on to the next pitch, on to the next pitch, on to the next pitch. It might be a period of adjustment in that first like month or two of when they implement it, where it's gonna feel like complaining or people are out of a rhythm, but I think it's just going to make the game feel real crisp, and I'm excited. I think, it doesn't make a difference for me, but it might make a difference for somebody who's a little bit more casual.
No, yeah, and bear with us once again. We'll probably get this going in a better connection right now. For me, I think that it's always really relevant to take care of the fan. If it brings more fans into the sport, why not? Now, will this bring more competition? Will a lot of, more conservative type of pitchers, and I'm even speaking of the great Clayton Kershaw wearing his jersey right now, who most likely will not like this type of move. But does it bring more excitement? Will it possibly give hitters a little bit more advantage? Some pitchers like to work a little bit faster. It'll probably just make it a little bit more strategic when it comes to your pitching. What is your new kind of rule going to be? Is there going to be more stolen bases based off of the quickness of the pitch, trying to time it right, so on and so forth? So I think that this can be another additional element to the game, good or bad. I would say that there would be a lot of adjusting, but ultimately they're looking to implement a better overall experience for the fans. And does it bring new stuff? I definitely think it does. On to the next one here. You have Angels Shohei Ohtani throws a perfect game through 5 innings versus the Astros, but it's broken up in the 6th. Nothing too crazy, but definitely want to continue to emphasize the dominance of Shohei Ohtani, and I think we both had the Angels coming out of this division. Drew, your first impressions on this?
Yeah, he went 6 innings, allowed 1 hit, had 12 strikeouts, 3 with a walk, a double, and a pair of ribbies. So it's a special thing when the only pitcher who hits anymore is the team that he's pitching against. It's a really good combination, and it's going to lead to a lot more wins. And I think if you have Shohei going every 5th day, I mean, I don't want to say pencil, because if he's not getting it done on the mound, he's probably going to get it done at the plate. But when you can have him do both, I mean, it's, that's 20% of your games that you win. It's very dominant. I think we're going to see a lot more of those types of lines. Maybe not the perfecto bids, but going out there and getting a couple RBIs and not allowing it probably 10 more times you're going to see it this season, honestly.
Yeah, no, I think I'd have to agree with you. It's something that's special. It's something that I'd like to emphasize. Otani's definitely clickbait, but ultimately, he's a really good asset and one that is you're gonna pay money to go watch this cat, and for him to be able to continue to show it. And I'm gonna be honest with this part. He didn't really have the greatest start to the beginning of the year, so for him to kind of show out that way and kind of show his promise is coming back is definitely exciting, especially when we pick these guys to win the division, and then you have the Astros with Jose Altuve going down with, I think it's a hamstring injury. So definitely going to play a part in how that division turns out. And the next one here kind of brings up another IL. We spoke about Lance Lynn being down for the White Sox. White Sox on a 7-game losing streak currently. So White Sox outfielder Eloy Jiménez heads to the IL, likely to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a hamstring injury. Another hamstring injury. These ones definitely plague. Drew, what is your first impressions on this? We both had the White Sox to win, though, too. They are now, I think they're 6-8 or 6-9. So they started 6-2, and now they're 6-9 after the losing streak.
So as of this, so they're 2-8 in their last 10. And I mean, I think I want to talk about this a little bit more later, but it's weird, right? Because that injury only happened a couple of days ago, so it's not like it's the cause of the recent struggles. I think there's a lot of things going to help. Losing a guy like that 6 to 8 weeks is a long time, and usually hamstrings, they nag, right? I mean, we've seen plenty of players go down with a hamstring injury in 3 to 4 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks, whole season. So I think that the smart thing to do would be just to try to be contenders and get to the All-Star break 6 weeks, or 6 to 8 weeks, just so they could, because they're going to need them down the stretch. So I don't know. I think it's just trying to keep injuries at bay in Chicago, really.
Yeah, I think you're completely right on that one. Now, again, it definitely plays a part when you're losing pitchers, when you're losing a guy who was a Silver Slugger in 2020. So Eloy Jimenez is definitely a great loss to this lineup that it feels like they definitely need something to continue to keep it going. It's definitely a long season, but having a 7-game losing streak, let's get it out in the beginning of the season rather than the end or even in that middle where things can get really stale. So let's get into this next one. Kyle Schwarber goes on a rant after, of course, you have Angel Hernandez shitting the bed once again with some calls. I'm glad that I changed it to a dual view here. Caught your face a little bit. And hey, man, let me just give you the soliloquy. But before we do that, I definitely want to make sure that this Wi-Fi is going up because I would love to hear everything that you have to say in a better type of view than what is happening right now. So give me a quick moment. I'm going to go ahead and update this so that, because it's supposed to be fucking working, dude. And this is kind of annoying.
The funny thing about that Schwarber rant was he was yelling at Angel Hernandez because Angel Hernandez was fucking both sides. He's like, oh, you're fucking him there, and this year you're missing him high, you're missing him low. Both sides. So it was I mean, I don't know, man. I'm the first guy to tell you I fucking hate Angel Hernandez. He's just an absolute. It's atrocious when he's behind the plate. It's atrocious when he's on third or first base line too, because the shit he does on the lines is even egregious. He should not have a job. That's my opinion.
I think it's really funny because every single time something happens in the MLB where it's a bad call, a bad rap, a crazy way to end the game, and it all has a common denominator, and it seems to be Angel Hernandez.
If it's close, you protect, right? Foul it away, or just try to slap it, and it's a slap single. That where that ball was, it's not bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost a strike, anyways. So I don't know. I just feel like that was probably the least worst call of the night as in relation to the strike zone. But it was also the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, the worst call was that 6th inning, Gene Segura, the bases are juice, and I think it said the ball was 6.5 inches inside, and it was a called strike, and it's literally the worst call of the season thus far. So
yeah, no, it's super tough, and then you have to deal with it, and then it's definitely emphasized. I feel like the guys already have a rap on these umps, the same way that anybody would have a scouting report on any player, you're gonna have a scouting report on these umps. What does he like? What does he not like? Does he call him more inside, outside, so on and so forth? Is he a hitters? Is he a pitcher's kind of ump? So all of those are definitely something that you really have to look and take it into account, especially in this analytical world. And it's so funny that always at a cornerstone, or there's that pillar of Angel Hernandez being an idiot.
If it's Angel Hernandez, just expect the worst. Just go out there and fucking go out hacking because he's gonna strike you out anyway. It's terrible.
That's what I say to Angel Hernandez right there. Little get him out of here. Get him out of here. On to the next one, though. Another injury. The Orioles ace John Means to undergo Tommy John surgery. Andrew, first impressions.
It sucks for John Means, but it's not really going to have an impact in that division. The Orioles are going to be fifth anyways, so I feel bad for him. It's terrible. You never like to see injuries. There are guys that you don't wish that upon a lot of guys. You know what I mean? Like some players, like, oh, he's injured. It is what it is. And some guys are like, oh, I feel bad that he's injured. John Means is one of those ones, right?
See, for me, I think it's a big blow. I feel like it takes all the hope out of the Orioles. We were even speaking about, wasn't there no hope for the Athletics? And look what they're at. So, I mean, it's still the beginning of the season. There's a lot to go. There's a lot of games to be played. But let me say this much. He can be a good trade bait, and he can be contributing into another good team at the end of the season or in the middle of the season, when trades are all happening. But let's get on to our first one here. One thing that I love to emphasize is when there are bad breaks and you want to talk shit on a player or something that's out of their control, or if a player's just not doing well, I love to give them their flowers when they start to turn it around. Now, one of the main people that I want to bring in, one of my favorite players, and we'll give shout outs to Drew here. He's in Minnesota, gets to see this man firsthand. But ultimately, let's just say this much: Byron Buxton is getting over this minor knee injury, and not only is walking off multiple times, but also tying the game in home run fashion. This guy has been amazing. Let's just say this much. Sunday, after Buxton hit a game-tying 2-run homer in the 7th inning, he hit a walk-off 3-run blast in the 10th, and to complete a 3-game sweep of the White Sox. Again, the White Sox are struggling, but we have them to win the division. So for them to have this type of exclamation point to get the season started, to get the season series started, and to have this type of guy who everybody is kind of expecting to be the Batman of this team. He needs to be that leader. He needs to be there because, man, this guy's definitely a difference maker. Drew, your first impressions on this man?
I didn't expect the Minnesota pitching to be as good as it is, but you followed up with this, and this is the important part. So I'm just going to read this verbatim. This is from Jeff Passan earlier today. Since 2019, the Minnesota Twins are 73. A 101 win pace for a full 162 season, with a 203 positive run differential when Byron Buxton plays. When he doesn't play, Twins are not and have a run differential of negative 97. In his last 162 games, Byron Buxton has an 8.4 WAR, the definition of an impact player.
Yep.
And he's a glass house, right?
Well, let me say this much.
He's
to follow
now.
Up on that, if I can interject real quick, because we were speaking about just a little bit about WAR, right? Wins above replacement, and the difference that Byron Buxton plays, right? So when he plays, as he's playing, let's just say on a per game basis, he leads the MLB in wins above replacement since in 2019, in 2020, and in 2021. Just the way as he plays in a per game basis, his WAR is the best. And let's just say this much: it definitely outpaces the greatest Twins seasons in the history of the Twins. So that's including MVP campaigns from Joe Mauer. A lot of people know him. Harmon Killebrew and Rod Carew. I'm sure a lot of people know a little bit more about Rod Carew than you know about Harmon Killebrew. But you're talking about this guy hitting dingers, 470-foot dingers off of closers that made it to the All-Star game. Now, All-Star game's a little bit, iffy, especially when it comes to the bullpen, but there's a lot of bullpen guys to pick out of. Let me just say this much, though. When he's on that field, he's nice. And not just with the bat, but with his glove too. Go ahead and finish what you had to say on that on the last part there.
So I think for me, like he's always been a glass house, right? You're our guy, hurt or not. We want you, to wear the Twins uniform for a long time. But it's translated into some amazing numbers. He's batting .351. He's slugging .946. That's at 1.361 OPS.
I love me some OPS. Right? You know that. If I can wrap this one up, because we definitely want to have a quicker show today. We mentioned it in the beginning of the season how the Astros lost the leader. As much as we do not like Carlos Correa, they lost the leader in him. Now, let me just kind of put a little bit more fuel to that fire, right? So it's Carlos Correa and Miguel Sanu. So I'm going to give Sanu a little bit more, some help there. I guess you could say just giving him some ups. Approached Buxton before the game winner to tell him that he was going to walk it off. This is the one before where he had 2 home runs to not only tie the game, but walk it off in the extra innings. This was the game beforehand. He went 0-for-3 for his first 3 at-bats. I think the first one was a strikeout, and he just didn't look good. He had better at-bats in the second little stint of that, and of course hitting that walk-off home run. Those guys went up to him, kind of reassured him, and this is what he had to say as a quote. This is straight from Buxton's mouth. Just having Correa come up to me, we talked a little bit, and he kind of settled me down for the last 3 at-bats. And it just lets you know that as far as players and where we're at as a group, we know how to get each other locked in, and that's just part of being part of this fun locker room. So I kind of just felt it, and I seen it. Carlos Correa gets his back, and now you have him in the locker room saying, "This guy is the best player in the game. This guy's the best player in the game." Talking about Buxton, and Carlos Correa has been playing with Alex Bregman, and everybody was claiming him to be the best player in the league at one point. And then you also have Jose Altuve, who is nasty on both sides of the ball, at least pre-scandal. So with that being said, Correa is definitely a fan of his own team and can definitely get them some more fuel to their fire. Any last words on this one?
A lot of the times you don't acknowledge the best players, with the exception of Mike Trout, as players who are on losing teams. So I think that there's a lot of players out there who are really, really, really good, who are just on really, really, really bad teams. And it's just one of those things where they kind of just fly under the radar. So that might have been the case with Carlos Correa's opinion on Byron Buxton. I mean, I don't think he's wrong. I think that Buxton's definitely, I think he's got Fernando Tatis impacts,
Yeah.
But Tatis is on a flashier team. There's a lot more names on that team. They're in a division that's, it's highly contentious.
Even in the division, look at all the teams in the division. They're going to get a lot more,
yeah, I mean, the national spotlight's going to be on those guys because they're going to be on Sunday Night Baseball when they play the Dodgers or when they play the Giants or when they play the Yankees or when they play the Mets.
And then, they still have stars on that team too, so they're definitely going to get more outlook for the rest of national television. Let's just say that much.
Yeah, but I think Byron Buxton deserves the praise he's getting. I'll just leave it at that. He's really, really good. He's really, really fucking good.
No, I definitely would have to agree with you on that one. Let's get on to the next one here. The New York Yankees fans suck. Dodgers. Oh, I kind of wanted to tie this on. I kind of threw this together. Not that much preparation when it came into this show. I'm going to be completely transparent, but we're just going to get this content out to you guys. A lot of people talk shit about Dodgers fans. We all fighting this and that. But one thing that we don't do is disrespect the on-field product. We'll disrespect them fucking fans on the side, though, because we ain't no bitches, right, Drew?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I like that.
And that lady at the game when you were like in middle school. That Phillies fan, dude.
We gotta yell at them, bro. Gotta yell at them.
We have to let them know. Gotta brief them, dude.
But moments after the Yankees secured a walk-off win with a warning track in right field center. With the walk-off win, there was a scuffle kind of going on in the right field to right center field where it felt like there was like a frat house, man. Like everybody's throwing hot dogs, ice cream cones, people almost hit in the face with beer cans. What is going on at Yankee Stadium when all these different fans, after a win, you won? Why do you have to top it off with that type of reaction? So there's a lot of things going on in right field and even left field after I think it was Stephen Kwan. Stephen Kwan goes makes a great play over to get this ball that barely gets over his head, smashes into the wall, has the wherewithal to get back up and try to really redeem the play as a whole. Gets back into it, tries to make up for it. Ultimately, it doesn't lead to anything, but they check on him, concussion protocol, everything seems good, but he has cuts on the top of his forehead, on his cheek. It's a terrible hit. I'm sure everybody has seen it already. My whole thing to you, Drew, is what is your like? This makes me it makes me kind of it irks me. It really makes me feel uncomfortable to see the way that a supposedly conservative type of market in baseball is treating people with the disrespect that they have in that type of way. Maybe it's just New York, but holy shit, was that disgraceful.
Oh, you said why, right?
Yeah, like, well, I don't know.
Because fuck them, that's why.
Why?
Because fuck them.
Fuck who? The fans or the players?
I mean, if you're a Yankee fan, it's fuck everybody. I mean, they boo their own players, for Christ's sakes. Loud, too. I mean, it's fucking outrageous.
So you're fine with this?
Think about the way they treat Garrett Cole.
Fuck Garrett Cole.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it.
Hey,
okay?
if you're getting paid that much money, you deserve to get that type of... I don't care about
Did
booze.
you see, by the way,
I care about you
Garrett
getting
Cole
into
said that
somebody's
he was donate
face.
His whole game check to some charity if he went 2 innings.
That was a fake report.
He went an inning and 2 outs.
That was a fake report.
Oh, okay, because that was fucking hilarious.
That's fucking hilarious.
You know what?
Like, if I go 2 innings, everybody gets laptops. 1.2 innings. It was a fake post, but it's definitely hilarious.
Yeah,
but no,
I think for me,
you're fine with this.
The Yankees fans are egregious. So this is a true story. I want to share it with the world here. So there was Rob took a vacation to New York last summer, and the Yankees were at home playing the Red Sox when he was in there, and he told me that he was going to go to the game, which I misunderstood. I thought he was going to go to the third game. I thought he was going to go to the second game. I think he ended up going to the third game. But at the second game, there was this tweet that at New York, between innings, the Jumbotron put up this crying baby, and he was in Red Sox attire. And the Yankees fan booed that baby relentlessly. And I called everybody because I'm a big Dodger fan. And I'm like, hey, if we're at the Dodger game and you see a baby in Giants gear, what do?
I'm booing him.
The consensus was we boo that fucking baby. I think that the Yankees fans just kind of got a little into it. I don't understand why you're going to throw shit on the field after a win. Like, to me, I would be upset when they lose. Like, I'm the guy who's going to catch a home run, and if it's hit by the opposite team and we're down bad, that ball's going right back on the fucking field. But to throw food and beer and to throw to a team that, first of all, isn't in your division, and second of all, shouldn't be a fucking threat, I think it's embarrassing as an organization. And the one saving grace that I at least was appreciative of was that the Yankees players themselves came on the field to be like, hey, yo.
Thank you.
What the fuck?
That's the only fucking thing I agree with you on, other than booing the baby. Because,
Yeah, boo that baby.
You boo that fucking baby.
Boo that fucking baby.
The baby needs to learn today. God damn. No, okay, so.
That's what a rivalry is.
Now let's think about this in sequence of events, and then we'll kind of get on to the next one after this, right? So for me, he hits his face and he falls down.
Yep.
Anybody, even at Dodger Stadium, at San Diego Padres Park, even at Giants Park, I am clapping because I wish no injury on anybody whatsoever.
As soon as he gives a thumbs up, as soon as he clears the field and the scary moments are over, applause. It's like an unwritten
I'm not
rule,
getting
man.
in nobody's face and telling them to go fuck themselves or calling them a pussy. Like, there's no way I'm doing any of that shit. I'm not a
Stephen
kid.
Kwan, man.
And
I mean, after the
no,
first week
that's
and a
not
half, he was a
acceptable.
front runner
I
for
don't care
Rookie of
what
the
you
Year.
have to say. You had your little piece. No, that's not acceptable. I don't wish any type of injury or hurt upon anybody in that type of manner. That's just ridiculous. And then you want to follow it up after a win with throwing shit at somebody and throwing shit onto your own field? You're littering on your own field. You know that, right? You didn't win a championship. You didn't do anything to deserve to want to be able to throw shit and to make a mockery of your own team, of your own organization. You have your own fucking players coming up to you telling you, nah, we don't do that shit. You're talking about the Yankees that stand for something. The people that don't even let you grow a fucking beard. And, oh, this is okay, Drew? Hell no. No, this is fucking ridiculous. The Yankees have more class than that. The Yankees are a top
The
organization.
Yankees players
Even
have
in the
more class
offseason,
than
one more
that.
thing. Even in the offseason, I was saying that they were underproducing because they are the biggest splash. They have a lot to hold, and the history of the Yankees, it shows that they really care in this type of way. So for you to go, oh, this doesn't matter, or this is okay, this is something that it just comes with being a crazy fan. I understand being a fanatic. I do not
I'm
understand
saying throwing shit on
disrespecting the
the field is
game
okay.
or its players.
I'm embarrassed for the game. I'm just saying that I don't expect much more out of the Yankee fans because they're for as good of an organization as the Yankees are, the fans are equally as terrible. Like they're the worst fans in baseball. They fucking are. Like the real fans are the Pirates fans and the Reds fans that show up even when their team fucking blows and then claps when something good happens. These guys boo their stars when they win 100 games, and they fucking throw trash on the field when they're not happy. Like those guys go out there and they do what they're paid to do. They play a game. It's a game.
Yeah. Well, let's say
You
this
know what
much.
I mean?
I'm gonna put a bow on this topic with something from Josh Naylor said. Win with respect. You don't need to throw stuff on the field. You don't need to hurt anyone. You guys won. Cheer and have fun. Have some beers with each other. But you do not need to throw them on the field. You're just wasting your money. Now, I don't like that last part. Money shouldn't be the main part why you shouldn't throw something on the field. Win with grace. Be a fan. Flip off the next guy next to you. That's funny to me. That's fine. But don't bring that shit onto the field and just.
I agree.
It's just ridiculous. I would love to.
High class organization, low class fans.
Low class fans.
I think it's a generality. Like there are plenty of Yankees fans who respect the game and appreciate a good time. I think you're in an area where there's probably a lot of intoxication going on, and there was a little bit of egging on with the players going on, anyways. I'm not saying that there's a guilty party. I'm just saying that most times you're heckling players and there's no response. When they were heckling Quan, you know, the Guardians were not fighting back, but they weren't just letting it happen either. So I think it's just to get caught up in the moment. And it's not an excuse. It's egregious. It's disgusting. It's a fucking embarrassment. But, you know, I think it's just you get caught up in the heat of the moment.
It happens, I guess. But
yeah,
let's learn from
it's
this experience.
Okay.
Let's not allow it to happen again. But let's definitely get to this next one. I want to pay praise to Miggy Cabrera, who definitely has captured some history, getting his 3,000 hit. Andrew was way more hyped about this than me, calling me when it was going to happen. It should have happened the night before, but they walked him, so on and so forth.
The fucking Yankees.
Yeah.
Here we go, talking shit about the Yankees now.
Hey, there we go again. So let me
Fucking
just say
Aaron
this.
Boone.
A long time ago, I think it was, the first person to get 3,000 hits was, shit. I forget his name. But in that same year, that same summer, and I'll look it up when Andrew's given his thing. We have that same summer, I think it was like 1989 or 1999, 1998 or something. A 16-year-old Venezuelan named Miguel Cabrera signed with the Marlins. He's now the 33rd person. That was the first person to ever do it. Captured 3,000. He is the 33rd one to do it in that time span there. I think he's 39. He just turned 39 this week. So him being able to do what he has been able to do, you're talking hitting both sides of the plate, pure slugger, one of the best approaches to a baseball at bat in the game. One of my favorite things that my buddy told me in college was that Justin Turner is a professional at bat. I'll watch him any day of the week. Miguel Cabrera fits under that and then some, to say the least. 3,000 hits, over 500 home runs, over a 300 batting average. Let's just say this much. Cabrera can go over his next 346 at-bats and still not be below 300, batting 300. Drew, your first impressions on him catching that 3,000 hit moment?
It was incredible.
I think this is the guy, to kind of follow up, I'm sorry, but I think this is a guy that we were able to watch his whole career and watch pretty much each three of those 3,000 hits, it felt like.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean he's a World Series champion with the Marlins. He won a ship with the Marlins, which is awesome. One of my favorite base hits that he had was they were trying to intentionally walk him when he was with the Marlins,
Yeah,
and they didn't get the ball outside enough, so he slaps an RBI single into right center.
yeah,
Hilarious.
hilarious.
Fucking throw the ball outside. They're probably the reason why you could just put up four fingers and put him on base now, which is what they fucking did to him when he was on 299 in the eighth inning on an 0 for 4. When the night before he was fucking 4 for 4. Oh, pissed me right off, fucking Aaron Boone.
He's
But
nasty.
let me read this to you. This is incredible. This just kind of puts Miggy's whole career into perspective. There's not a whole lot of active players right now who are no doubt first ballots, right?
Okay.
Miggy is one of them, and this is why. Okay, let me read this to you. Uh, 3,000 hits and 500 homers. Only 6 other men in history have done that, and 2 of them have PED asterisks, which is Alex Rodriguez and Rafael Palmeiro. The others are Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Eddie Murray, and Albert Pujols, which Pujols is probably another first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, 3,000 hits, 500 homers, and a 300 average. For a long time, it was just Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, and now Miggy's in that club. 3,000 hits, 500 homers, and 600 doubles would be Hank Aaron, Albert Pujols, and Miguel Cabrera. 3,000 hits, 500 homers, and 2 MVP awards would be Miguel Cabrera, Willie Mays, Albert Pujols, and Alex Rodriguez. Again, PED asterisk.
No Hank Aaron?
No Hank Aaron.
Because
no.
maybe he only has one MVP. I'm surprised he didn't have
Only
two.
one MVP. Only one MVP. Multiple batting titles and home run titles, plus the 3,500. For a half a century, the only man who could say he had done all that was Hank Aaron. And now it's Hank Aaron and Miguel Cabrera. Now listen to this. 3,000 hits, 500 homers, and a triple crown. Nobody but Miguel Cabrera.
Yes. All right, so let's follow up with this. You mentioned your favorite moment already. I'm gonna give my favorite moment because that was more of the question. What is your favorite Miggy Cabrera moment? And for me, I'll go ahead and kind of start with mine. Give you some time, even though you already picked one. Maybe you could pick a second one. So for me, I have a couple. I'm not necessarily going to pick a moment per se. For me, I think the best moment was when he won the Triple Crown. I never thought that I'd ever see that in my entire life. And I remember when it was Carlos Gonzalez and I forget who the other man it was that was chasing it with them. But that was just a really great overall sight to see because I love home runs. I love when you are great at situational hitting. And then to be able to, of course, capture the batting average title is definitely, super impressive. So having those races at the end, that's just gets you going, and that's what makes you watch those games because they mean something. You're racing with another competitor to get to where you want to be. So that was like my favorite season to ever really watch. And then the following seasons after he won the Triple Crown, he was almost trying to win it again and again right after that. So that was super
it's amazing.
Amazing in that in that little perspective right there. And then
really
another
cool
thing for
when
me
he was doing all that.
he
That's
has
when Clayton Kershaw was having his dominance as a pitcher. And when Clayton Kershaw won his MVP in the NL, the AL MVP was that Miggy Cabrera Triple Crown year. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was so awesome to watch. That was great baseball. That was a great baseball year. Another thing that I really like about Miggy is the kind of like Adrian Beltre personality. He's able to have a lot of fun on the bases.
Playful.
Dude, there's so many stories like that where so let me give you a story real quick that I read about just recently. So Nick Castellanos was what happened?
Love him.
Oh, he's great. In the beginning of his career with the Tigers, he would always go back and forth with Miguel Cabrera, mostly just one-sided because Castellanos is definitely not on Miggy's level. So Nick would never take any advice from everybody. Was more really competitive to his own. He has his own style of doing things. And every single time that they would have, an internal type of competition when it comes to like batting practice, so on and so forth, Nick would always compare himself to Miggy Cabrera. Well, so Miggy, just being himself, knowing what he knows and his approach to the game is always outperforming Nick Castellanos. So he's on the plane with Nick, and he goes there and he has his beats on and he gets close to him and he's like and he's writing in his journal. Nick Castellanos says he's writing in his journal and he's trying to figure this part out. So Miggy goes up to him, taps him, he goes, "Hey man, you're a great player, but let me tell you something, that you were learning to walk while I was already running." And then puts his headphones back on and keeps on going his way. And little do you know, Nick Castellanos started to learn a lot more from Miguel Cabrera and started to really understand. What was great about Miggy was that he was able to make those types of comments, have those types of sarcastic moments, and you knew it was all fun and games. He's giving the cup check to everybody. He's hitting people on upside the head with the glove. He's giving props to every pitcher that comes up and actually makes a great pitch. He knows how to approach the game. And what's funny about it is the simplest form: see ball, hit ball. That's what he says to himself.
Well, I think what kind of attributes to that story is a great teammate. He is the first person to really acknowledge his accomplishment after he hits that 3,000th base hit and it's a single when time is called. He was teammates with that Rockies player for 5 years. I think it was who was it? I don't remember his name.
Jose Iglesias.
But Jose Iglesias. The first person who gave him a hug was Jose Iglesias, who plays for the Rockies now. So he hits this single, time is called, and then boom, big old bear hug. So it just shows you, like, they were teammates for 5 years. It just shows you, like, Miggy is out there and he's a man playing a boys' game, and he full on knows it and like appreciates those moments and appreciates the relationships, and he's super cool.
He makes
just
the game
to close this out, let
better.
me tell you, my he asked me for a second favorite Miggy moment.
Yeah, hopefully
it's probably his first base hit, right? It's the 9th inning, and he fucking hits a tank dead center for his first base hit, and it's a walk-off homer. That's another great Miggy moment.
Oh yes, it's a walk-off home run in his first debut there. Definitely a great one.
No, his first hit. It wasn't his first AB. It was his first hit.
No, but it was the debut. I meant
his debut game. That's
sorry
correct.
about that. Yeah. Okay, to give you guys a little bit more perspective on how great Miguel Cabrera is and how hard it is to reach this milestone of 3,000 hits. I'm just gonna give you the top 3 people here so far, and then I'll name a couple youngsters that have a chance of doing so. So Jose Altuve is 31, has 1,783 hits, has apparently a 34% chance of reaching that 3,000 hit mark. Not over 50, not over 70, barely over 30% chance of reaching that. And then you have, of course, Freddie Freeman, who is 32, 1,720 hits, 28%. And then Fernando Tatis to round up the top 3, 23 years old, 303 hits, 20%. A couple of youngsters that I do want to mention that is really nice to kind of see where these guys end up at the end of their careers. Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna Jr., all around about a little more than 420 hits, 18 to 13%. 18 Juan Soto, 13% Ronald Acuna, 23 years old for Soto, 24 years old for Acuna. And then you have Vlad Guerrero Jr., 385 hits, has an 11% chance, but of course, a long more time to go in both of those guys. Oh, actually, all 3 of these guys, if they can stay healthy, hopefully. One thing I do want to emphasize, so too, Miggy stayed on the field, had bone spurs in his foot, and all, encouraged other people to play through the pain. And if he's doing it, anybody else can. That's what a lot of his, peeps have said. Let's wrap it up, though, with some quick approaches to Dodger baseball. You know what it is, Drew. I wish I had it already on the soundboard. I got to update that shit. But this is a segment that we have every week that we like to call It's Time for Dodger Baseball. Again, we're located in the IE. Big time Dodger fans here. We bleed blue. We bleed blue, of course. Yet we definitely have different opinions on the team, like always. Let's get into the first one. Opinions of Cody B doing his shit, dog. NL Player of the Week for I think this is the 3rd week of the season. Drew, your opinions when people were saying put him in the minors.
Yeah, we talked about that. Opening week, and I think I said that I wasn't ready to put him in the minors yet. I like that he's batting low in the order. I think a lot of the pressure's off. Um, Player of the week's gotta feel good. I just want a little bit more consistency. I'm not downing him. I get it. I mean that week he was over 300, but it's either he's getting zero base hits or getting multiple base hits. He leads the team in multi-hit games. If he gets the games in which he has a base hit, he's got more than one base hit. But if it's either that, right? It's two or more or none at all. So I would like to see, maybe a little bit more of that consistency. But the at-bats are good. He's driving the ball to the right parts of the field. It's not like they're bloops or dribblers or, all singles. I mean, the slugging percentage is there. The NL Player of the Week award was given to him after he had a couple doubles, a triple, and a few homers.
Seven ribbies. Seven ribbies.
He's putting the ball. He's putting the ball everywhere.
My only complaint about Cody right now is that he continues to strike out. The ones that he doesn't get in play, he does strike out a lot still. So that would be just my only complaint about Cody. But I always knew it was there. He can be big time, and he can make a big difference, especially when he's hitting them out of the park. Always solid on the defensive side. Cody B. I'm gonna try this new name, man. This new name for him, double entendre. Cody B. Smoking tree or trees. He always looks high, but that smoking bat, man, that stick, that tree of his. Cody B. Smoking tree. Let's get on to the next one here. Mookie's struggling again. We signed him into a long.
Right? I mean, he's the highest paid player on our team, right? And he's batting under 200, and he's still leading off. And we still have the best record in the league, so I don't know. I don't really give a shit that he's struggling, really.
Okay, so you're really quick with it. My whole thing is the first part. We paid him a lot. Yeah. These big-ass contracts have not been working out for anybody in baseball, and it sucks. I don't get it, and it kind of is like, every single time we give out a fat-ass contract, they don't really work out. So for me, I'm a little upset just because is this going to happen for the long run? What is going to happen with Mook? I'm not scared. It's still early, not only in the season, but also in his contract. My big thing about him, though, he's getting good, solid hits, it feels like. Solid contact.
You're saying that a big contract doesn't work out, but Freeman also got a big fucking contract, and he's got an OPS over 900, and he's batting 333. We just started.
Hey, I'm not saying. Am I saying Mookie's going to continue to struggle? No.
You just said that the big contracts don't work out, and the fucking guy who hits right after
in history of the league so far, which big contract has worked out?
Oh my god!
So far,
dude.
Which
Max
big contracts have worked?
Contract worked out. I mean, maybe not with the Mets yet, but it worked out when he fucking signed with the Nats.
It's okay. One ring, and yeah, he did his job. Let's just say that much. Okay, you're fine. That's also a pitcher.
The list of the guy I told
it's
you,
also
right?
a pitcher. The position players do a lot worse, and you know this.
Short. Scherzer's on that list.
Okay, you're fine.
Right.
One out of many.
Okay.
Also, again, it's mostly position players. But Mook, no. I don't think that he's going to be part of that list. He's, again, like I said for Cody, he's good enough on the defensive side to give him a lot more at-bats. We see him and how he does things. He's a 5-tool player. He'll continue to show it out. But my whole thing is, come on, man. Like, what's going on? You said last year you're unhealthy. It was really hard to find it, to grind every day. Now you're healthy. You have no excuses this year. You started off already not too well. You hit 2 homers in one game. We thought we were breaking out. He had some solid contact today. We can see what's going to continue to go on with this guy, but he has a lot of batters on base, and he has not been able to cash those in. So for me, I'm putting it out on him. Let's emphasize it. Come on, baby. We need you back here. If you start going, we're going to go even harder. Why not go harder? I don't like to just win. I like to stomp on their fucking necks and keep on rubbing that shit in.
We have the highest rated offense right now.
We're great. We just beat somebody, like 7-0 the other night? We're great. We're fine. I'm just saying.
We beat the Padres 10-2.
Yeah. I stopped watching after a little bit. It's a little.
We're blanking the Diamondbacks right now, which, sure, they're the Diamondbacks, but the part of baseball is.
But we left a lot of runners on base. So I was watching that shit right now. Your favorite player here. Let's get on to the next one. Max Muncy. Will he be able to bounce back? He's having another rough kind of year here.
Absolutely. His at bats are really clean, and he's hitting the ball well. He's just hitting it at players. You know what I mean? It's not like he's. I don't know. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about either of them. I wasn't really worried about Bellinger either. I think
Yes, you were.
we're just built right. You know what I mean? Like there's only a couple teams with 10 wins. There's 7 teams with 10 wins. 3 of them are in the NL West, and the Dodgers are on top of all 7 of them. So
Hey,
yeah,
we have great luxury in our
struggle.
organization to be able to say, hey, these guys are struggling. Let's let them work it out. That's what I was saying about Cody. Let's hope that Max Muncy can at least hit the ball out the park. You can have a low average, and we've seen that through a lot of players in the league, as long as you're able to put that ball out of the park. So
You'll be fine.
bring in some runs, baby. Do your thing. Get some walks. If your on-base percentage is still good, but you're hitting out players, I can understand that.
His
Smoke
on-base
the ball.
percentage is great.
Get on base. Hit the ball out of the park. You'll be fine. His defense is also pretty nice too.
His on-base percentage is over 300 right now with a 150 average. So
yeah,
he's good
that's what I'm
He's
saying.
fine.
I'm not putting like these guys need to go down to anything or they need to be replaced. I'm saying, is this permanent? It's bleeding from last year into this year. You were talking about,
fine.
Cody, it's been multiple years. It's been ever since his MVP season. He hasn't been good, Rob. Well, I get to talk about these guys the same way.
He's unhealthy right now. He fucking fractured his elbow the last play of the regular season. And he told you in spring training that he wasn't going to be 100% on opening day, and he probably wouldn't be 100% until after the All-Star break. Like, he's not healthy, and that's okay.
Andrew having a lot of excuses, not reasons.
Oh my!
A lot of excuses for his favorite player.
Okay.
Let's see what your excuse is for.
Let's go. Fuck you. Next week.
Last one. Let's see what your excuse is for your favorite manager, Dave Roberts here. At least my favorite manager. Kershaw being pulled from perfection. Let's make this one quick, baby. What do you got?
He's a piece of shit. No fucking excuses for that guy.
My turn. Kershaw has grown a lot. He understands that his body's different. Ultimately, he's come to accept it, I feel like. I don't think that he wanted to come out of the game. 80 pitches, huh? And you take him out of the game?
Here's me, man. I mean, in Clayton Kershaw, he's been pitching since I was in high school, right? He debuted in 08, 09, that time frame, right? So he's a 14-year veteran, 15-year veteran, or whatever it is. Have you ever known Kershaw to say anything controversial ever? So do you think
I've seen him make his reactions controversial on the mound if he doesn't agree with him being pulled? He shows aggression. He shows like he wants to be in the game. This time he did not do that. He understands that it's a long season. Ultimately, would I would love to see him do it? Yes. 80 pitches, nothing. Like you said, he threw 80 pitches in a bullpen session literally a couple days before that. Get him going.
But yeah.
He should have been okay. Oh, and I mean, we still won the game. It's ultimately we're just trying to win the game. But hey, like, let him change. If it's a no-hitter, okay, maybe. Perfection, it's tough. My computer battery is gonna die. Last words on that, though.
I agree with you. I think if it's a no-hitter, I mean, Sean Manure had one in his first start, and they pulled him after 7, but it was a no-hitter. He had a couple walks. Nobody gave a shit. Jeff Passan even tweeted about it with Kershaw. I mean, if it's a perfection he's chasing, then let him fucking go.
Yeah.
Kershaw's he's a seasoned vet. He knows how to pitch deep into games. He's done it his whole career. Like at 80 pitches, let him fucking go.
Yeah.
Just let him go.
All right, last thing on that one.
Have the bullpen ready.
Yeah, last thing on that one. Dave Roberts is the only manager to pull 2 different pitchers from a perfection type of game. He's also the guy.
Rich Hill, he had a reason though.
Rich Hill's a little bit different.
You acquire a guy and he's got
tough.
blister problems. You need him in the playoffs, and this is his fucking second start with the team. I mean, I get it.
Okay, but the last one though.
But
Ross Stripling was also pulled from a
no-hitter on his first
game
week of the year.
And that was definitely coming off of a Tommy John surgery, and it was very tough. Yeah. So this guy doesn't really care for the accolades. He cares about the ultimate goal, and he has one of them. Let's get multiple. There's no reasons why we shouldn't with this type of lineup. And
we win the World Series this year, I'd still be pissed he pulled Clay from perfection. Fuck that.
Look at him.
I'm serious.
Look at him. And I'm wearing it. I should get his back more. But that is to wrap up episode 3 of
Fuck you and the horse you rode in on, buddy. Don't fucking pull
The
a guy from
Sports U
perfection.
Podcast, MLB edition. Thank you, Drew. Champ Andres coming back once again. Washed up
See you
second
guys later.
baseman, showing out here his baseball knowledge. Let's see how our picks go. Go Angels. Go White
Yeah.
Sox. Break the streak. Cardinals leading the division. Brewers
Cardinals.
right behind them. Yankees
Cardinals are
second
good.
in the division,
Called it.
but behind the Blue Jays, of course.
Called that too.
We got a lot going on here. Long season ahead of us. Hopefully them Stros suck. But thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Sports U Podcast, MLB edition, episode 3. Like what Gifton always mentions, and he'll probably be here in the next one. Like this video if you enjoyed the content. Leave a comment down below about our stupid ass opinions. Shatter that like button. What is it? Bust down in the comments. That's what he says. And remember to always support the U. Wait, hold on. Wait, see, he put it up, y'all. The other boys, they don't like it when I do that U thing. We're not Miami University, they said. And I was telling them that I'm going to get the necklace and then start doing it myself. Support the U, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.